everyone. This is Geeky Vices with J-Belle, where I talk about bits of geekdom and pop culture I've been into lately. So the general vibe of the show is that um, it's unrehearsed, unedited, and unhip. I don't really care about what's the latest and greatest. I kind of just skip around to whatever my interests take me, and sometimes I'm a little bit repetitive. Like I will occasionally go back to topics I've talked about beforehand, but that's because my innate nature is to rewatch things. So, yeah. Anyway, also another general thing is that I do tend to be spoilers light. I try being careful not to reveal the major spoilers, but if you want to go in with a completely open mind to the topic I'm talking about each week, then I recommend enjoying my video after you watch that content. So yeah. This is a revisited episode. Last week I talked about Love 020, which is a Chinese romance drama, which I loved, but I wanted to talk even more about it because one, it is what has still been my active vice. Like, I've been in the middle of rewatching it. Like, as I said, like, I basically binge watch it in a couple of days. Sorry, hair in the eye. Watched it within, like, slightly more than a weekend, and then I basically I stayed up all night watching, like, finished up the last few episodes, and I watched the movie, and then I spent my day off, like, reading fan fiction about two particular characters. So, and then I'm rewatching again, because one, I enjoy it, but also some of the characters I couldn't distinguish from one another quite yet, so it's kind of nice to go back with that perspective. So, yeah. And also, I feel like last time I spent so long talking about the premise, I didn't necessarily get to go into all the characters and all my thoughts. So, yeah. And to forewarn you, I am terrible, terrible with certain like foreign names, like Chinese, like certain cultures. I'm okay with their names. Chinese, it's one of the ones that's hard for me because I've noticed this with my friends that are bilingual. Like, they tend to speak very quickly. So, like when they're speaking their language, so I don't have it's hard for me to audio wise like pick up their names versus like if I'm watching an anime, like I can pick up a name and like repeat it, and also like I feel like the pronunciations are a little bit easier for my American tongue versus I know with Chinese the pronunciations are more subtle. So I apologize, but I'm gonna try being brave and attempting to say more of the names I did than last week. So probably because I'm slightly more familiar because I'm in my second watching of the video, or series, but yeah. But anyways, so yeah, I'm going based off assuming you watched my last video, and I apologize if I cover some points again, but yeah. So yeah, as I said, like, it's a beautiful, beautiful romance novel, or romance series. I highly recommend it. Brief overview. Basically, this girl is a computer major and plays this online video game, and she ends up getting wooed in the game by the guy who's the top player in her server, and they end up following each other in game, and then they meet in real life, and then it turns out that he's the school idol, and they immediately are in love with each other in real life as well. So that's the shortest hand gist I can give of it. So anyways, first of all, I would like to talk a little bit more about the main character, Bei Weiwei. So, as I said last time, like, her character is very much like perfect idolized. I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth this time. So I've noticed that one of the things is that she's not. They definitely are try emphasizing the fact that she's not frivolous. Like, she's not into like she doesn't really go shopping with her friends when they go shopping. She's like, oh, my clothes are fine from last year. So she's not frivolous, and like she doesn't really care about status and everything, and she's but she's also like very much a little bit reserved and classy, I would say, because like when she does get in the relationship with the idol guy, who I'm gonna try calling him Lord now in this video because I feel like that's the closest I can approximate to his name, and I feel like it's a little less confusing when I call people by their names than me just having descriptors for each of them. So yeah, and I do find it interesting like that she does still call him like the Chinese equivalent to Lord when they are together, because it's like there's definitely this balance of power in the relationship. Like, it's definitely he is the one that she's idolizing, where like she's the one who's like always like thinking about what like worried about what he's thinking about her, and like trying to like impress him, and like he never seems to have that worry. Which, I mean, one, he is a super confident guy who like basically everyone worships, but so it's like one, he's always, I think, had the external validation, but I think it's also like he has enough internal validation where he doesn't feel like he needs to go do anything special for someone, but he is very caring towards her. But I do find it interesting, like how she does spend a lot of time like internal dialoguing when they do actually see each other in person. When she would do it a little bit in game, but like she definitely seems to do it a lot more in real life. And I will say that I've noticed that she's more shy and reserved in real life with her relationship versus I feel like she was a little bit more bold in the on game thing in game, which I understand. Like honestly, like everyone is a little bit different in game. Although I will say Lord Now seems pretty similar to me in both of them. It's just I think in the video game you can't see his smirks, and I do find the weird little pranks she tries playing kind of weird. Like when she finally gets a cell phone, she pretends that she's like some sort of spam type of message, rather than like just like, hey, I finally have a cell phone, and it's just like, I don't get the point of that type of prank. And sometimes when she's goofing off with his friends, like some of the kind of like jokes she tells, like when like the fact that the guys will call her Mrs. Nye and or refer to her as the future wife or him as her husband, even though they're just dating. It's largely because, like, in the game, they are a serious relationship. Anyways, like, she'll then respond, like, when she's embarrassed, like, oh, I'm going to tell your future wife that you promised to marry a rich girl. And it's like, I don't get... I think there's a little bit of cultural disconnect for me, like, the type of joke she tries to play, but like I can tell that they're also trying to have her try showing her as a playful side. But as I said, she's definitely idolized. Like I said, she's very classy. But she's also like one of those people who works hard, is diligent, will do her best. She's smart, she's talented, but like as like she doesn't just like rest on her laurels. Like she works for what she has, and like when she starts something, she follows through. And like one thing I do really like about her is that she is she is a caretaker of her friends. Like she's kind of like the one who will, like they're all kind of too lazy to bring the laundry in from outside when it's about to rain. She'll take care of it, or I guess like they have to like get their water, like haul the water, like the water bottle, like like there's like water coolers, like stereotypically in offices. Like I guess they have one of those in their dorm room, and like they have to like haul it down to like refill it. And a lot of times she's the one who takes care of that. So yeah, but as I said, like she's the one who, like when her friend Urxie is sick, like she's the one who's like really like taking care of her. And like when Urxie needs to get a shot, she's the one who's able to convince Urxie to do it. So she's definitely like as the kind of like the responsible caretaker group. She's also known for being the one who haggles and does. So I think there's like definitely like there's a maturity to her, I think. So as I said, like she's not frivolous, she's mature, and like in addition to like all of her obvious traits, like the fact that she's beautiful and she's smart, like those I think are some of her strong characteristics. As far as Lord Nye, I find it interesting how he always has like a one-liner, or like he always makes fun of people, like, and he's so observant. Like they always make a big deal about how good of a memory he has. Like he remembered her bank card number from seeing it once, and like when she did her fake text to him, he's like, huh, the bank card number looks familiar. So it's just like interesting how a lot of times they play off of that, and like how he will notice everything, and like he will make some sort of joke. Like she like was commenting on, like through instant messaging to one of his friends, like, oh, I've had guys hit on me my whole life. I know how to deal with it's no big deal. And then he walks by, like they find out that he walks by, and she's like, oh, I hope he didn't see it. And then he makes a comment like a few minutes later about like, oh yeah, it's not like I've been hit on all my life. So like the fact that he uses the same word, like he definitely like knows how to always tease and knows how to like rile her up in just the right way. Like he always has like that little smirk. But one thing I will say is that as much as he is like the Mr. Perfect, he is very loyal to his friends. Like, he definitely will look after them, and he's very caring. Like, I'm just thinking as far as, like, even his newer employees, like, most obviously Ostrong, who's a programmer in his company who is gynophobic, so, like, he can't handle being around women, which is why their office is all men until Wei Wei becomes an intern. He tells him it's like, well, don't lump everyone in a basket. Like, you can't say all girls are alike, but take your time to get over this. Like, be patient. It'll happen. But so it's like the fact that he is very understanding, and the fact that there's a time where they encounter a hacker who is a friendly enough person, but like how they are competing, and like how he's totally cool with like the hacker term of like being like, hey, if you beat me, I'll work for you for free for a year, which does happen, in case you couldn't tell. But like the fact that he will, like, he doesn't hold things against people, I guess. Like, he remembers things, but he's definitely sold things against. And one of the things that is his strength is like he's definitely has the gears going as far as like strategies. Like, his friends always make fun about how he's Machiavellian or how he's inhuman, because like he's very good about if someone like wrongs him, like getting his revenge and like being very thorough about it and like thinking it through. But he's also very good about being proactive about preventing other people from hindering him, because as far as his company, there's a rival company that's upset that they didn't basically get to buy them out. So the more established company is very petty and keeps on trying to thwart them and such. And he basically has backup plans where it's like, well, I'm going to have a mirror server ready to go in case they mess with this. I'm going to have this ready in case. It's like he's just very thorough about thinking things through. So like, that's it. I totally get it. It is interesting how in the Japanese stereotype, like, or Japanese, not Japanese, sorry. I guess it is, I mean, Japanese idol, like, ideal man as well as like Chinese man. Sorry, this is a Chinese drama, not Japanese. Anyways, generally in Asian cultures, but in this specific instance, Chinese idealized man is a bit stoic. Like, I remember switching back to Japanese and or in Host Club, for instance, I can't. Mori Senpai. He is considered to be the cool guy, or no, he's not considered the cool guy. Like, the cool guy is actually the guy with the glasses. But like in U.S. standards, like he would have been the cool guy. But no, yeah, the fact that there is that kind of like idealization where like there's a strong, talented guy who's very few words. Like, there's definitely that thing, and the fact that there's actually a second character like that, but which I think kind of contrasts with Lord Nye, because like Lord Nye is he's not wordy. Like he's very knows how to just get his point across with a few words, but he's not someone that you struggle to have a conversation with. Versus the other character who is someone who like you can get like a no. Like, basically those are like he a lot of times is monosyllabic with his answers. But yeah. So yeah, I do think, I will say from my American perspective, I can understand why Lord Nye is considered super, super handsome. I can see that Wei is considered very attractive. I will admit the campus beauty, I don't see why she is the super beautiful girl, but I mean, she's unattractive, but like there's just like some other characters where I'm like, they're really pretty too. I don't see why she's even more so. And then with Urxie, like they talk about how she's goofy looking. I don't think she looks goofy to me. I think it's more so I see the person crossing. Like I do always find it striking like how big her eyes are, and especially when they have her the in-game version of her, I am struck by like it's like she is really stunning too. I think it's just like they just let the goofiness of her personality like overshadow everything. And I will say Urxie, it's one of those characters where it's like she is clearly written to be the sidekick best friend. Like she is the whiny screw up. I didn't do my homework. Hey, can you help me? I'm gonna read my horoscope. Oh, I'm so lucky. Oh, I'm so unlucky. She's just a little. She is definitely a lot of the characters. Wei's not like she is frivolous and she is gossipy, but she also does have a very good heart, and she's also definitely extremely loyal. So yeah. I would say I would get very worn out if I had a friend like Erxie, especially if she was like someone I was living with, because I would not be able to handle someone mooching off of me that much. And like she's always taking people's snacks and such, and yeah, versus, and I realize like I am also like way too lazy for me to be the caretaker for someone like that. So yeah, and I will say, as far as like the other two roommates on Wei Wei's side, I wish Cece was more so established, because like you don't really see anything with her besides the fact she's always like wearing her hair in pigtails, and like I can tell like just from the way she dresses, she's the most, tends to be like the girliest of them. But I would say that you don't really see that much of her personality. Like I feel like she's just kind of like the extra person. She's Zhao Ling's. Sorry, I told you I'm trying. Zhao Ling's basically better, like closer friend out of the group. Speaking of Zhao Ling, I wish there was more of her, because I do like her personally. Like as far as like the people in Wei Wei's dorm, she's the person I would most want to hang out with. Like I always like that really blunt hairstyle. Like I think she looks really cool, and I like her personality. I like her dynamic with her boyfriend. How like it's like she definitely cares for him and loves him, but like she's totally gonna openly worship Lord Nye. Like it's kind of like how it's, which I personally think is totally fine. It's like, you know what, just because like you're in a relationship doesn't mean that you're not gonna still appreciate other people, as long as like it's clear that like, hey, I'm gonna be faithful, but hey, I still really admire this person. That's not going away. But yeah, I do like her relationship with her boyfriend, and I guess she's the rich girl of the group. I feel like after Wei Wei, she's the one in the group that has the most common sense. But yeah. Oh yeah, one thing I find interesting is like how Wei Wei gets. I will say, as far one thing that I've noticed, like especially rewatching it, those on-screen kisses, like there's not that many, but the on-screen kisses between Wei Wei and Lord's now are like some of the most awkward on-screen kisses I've seen. Like on his end, he's into it. You can see it. And like I guess the part is like he always, like whenever that happens, like he's the one that's kind of like swooping in and taking her by surprise, and like it's a series of like lots of little kisses. Versus her, it's like her eyes are like she's always like wide-eyed, startled, and like being like, what do I do? And I realized, yes, it's her first relationship, and I wouldn't be surprised if my first, because this is somewhat like that, because I know I was taken by surprise, and the other person had no idea that I had zero experience. But yeah, it's just like, as I said, the fact that like every single time it is like some of the most awkward screen kisses. Even when she has a dream about them kissing, it's like it's still the awkward on-screen kisses. So as I said, props to him for being a good on-screen kisser. Like he does great, but like yeah, her, it's so awkward. And then like I remember when she woke up, she was like praying to wipe it from her mind, because like she was like feeling embarrassed about her dream, even though no one else knew. It's interesting. I mean, I know it's like, it's also like it's definitely taking the long view, and then definitely trying to be super chaste. And I still find it weird how like they make a big deal about him teaching her how to swim. They don't actually show him teaching her how to swim. It's more so about her, like it's more so about picking out bathing suits and seeing each other in a swimsuit, which is weird, and makes it even, I think in some ways it makes it even more weirdly sexual, because it's like, just get to the point of showing them how to swim. Like that could have been a cute little moment, versus it being about the outfits and like her overthinking everything. But yeah, yeah. As far as his friend, yeah, I like Shelling. As far as his friends, Yugong is definitely one of the most developed ones. Like definitely at the beginning, he was like the most developed one. I can't remember. And then I know there's Hao Mei, aka Girly Mei, and then I can't remember the other one's name. I'm gonna go with Howzy. I don't know. We're gonna just call him H, because I can't remember his name. Because like he's usually the foil to Yugong. Like basically that's like the only thing you really see him is like he's basically who's bouncing off of Yugong, and like especially as Girly May like gets more and more of his character development. Like I feel like H more so gets swept to the side, especially like once they're no longer dorm mates. It's like he's just kind of there, but he doesn't ever have a focal point. Really, like he's never really been like, okay, he's the person who did this, or he's the person who says this. It's like, no, he's Yugong's foil, or he's just part of the group. Like the group, he's kind of like the male equivalent to Cece, except he was supposed to be more important than Cece. But yeah, one thing that struck me as weird is like that over the summer internships, like Wei Wei and Erxie are staying at Zhaoling's apartment, and Zhaoling's never there, and they never explain like where she is that whole time. But it's like the fact that you need to clean it before, and it's like, why? What was wrong with it? Like, I don't know if it was just dusty or if that's just a Chinese thing, but it's like, I innately would not think, oh, someone's letting me stay at their apartment, I must clean it before I even stay there. It's like, I more so would be thinking, like, oh, I should tidy it up before I leave. So that way I leave it nice for them. So, there's that thought. And then, yeah. So, and then there's Yiren, who is the campus beauty. Sorry guys, this video's long. I'm still going though. I'm just gonna go with it. Yeah. I see her nature, and like I see that she is. I feel like it's just a lot of bad advice from her, from her roommate. Like I think it's also she's so used to guys flying over, and like she finally likes a guy, and like it's mostly because she likes him initially, mostly because of his status and looks. Then she realizes he's also like has a really good character, and it's like I'm on her side, but like it's just funny how like I see her so pouty and like so upset and a little bit entitled when things don't go her way. And I think it's just part of like she's spoiled. Like I think it's part of she's, but also like I feel like she has very little loyalty to her friends. Like I know Nana, who I hate and who's always complaining about Yurin behind her back. Like I feel like sorry, my brain. Like, I feel like she will keep on being like, oh, things didn't go my way. It's all your fault. Like, that's how Yurin is. So she'll blame Nana and then, like, basically, like, leave her, like, abandon her. And then she does the same thing when she makes a new friend. Like, the new friend, Chanel, was actually giving really good advice. And, like, I don't think she deserved to be kicked to the curb. Because it's like, okay, things didn't work out and her blog got hacked, but it's like she wasn't doing anything mean-spirited. Like, I feel like she was actually trying to be a good friend and giving solid advice. Versus Nana, we know, is just using her for her wealth and just kind of basking in her own status. And here's the thing I find interesting is like with both Yurin's friends and with Yaya's friend, who is the online rival, like they're all about like, oh, you're so pretty. Why is she like? I feel like they're all about like building up their friend, the beautiful girl's beauty, and then trash talking everyone else. And it's like, I don't get how you being friends with someone who's beautiful builds you up. And I feel like I don't understand why someone needs to have that level of validation. Although I guess it's like kind of a status thing, like being like Yao Yao is the in-game beauty and Yiren is the campus beauty. But yeah, it's weird. It might be an American thing. It might be just because like I was always on the outskirts of the high school social class issues, so like that was never a concern for me. But yeah, it's interesting. And then yeah, and as I said, like I feel like Yao Yao isn't as bad. Like if you took away her friend, she wouldn't be so bad. Like one of her friends is a horrible human being, and like the fact that they keep on wanting like basically milk her having a rich boyfriend, like keep on wanting him to take her for meals and keep on taking advantage of him. It's like I'm like no. And I don't think Yao Yao should let her friends take advantage of him. Like, I feel like it's just, like, she brought everything upon herself by listening to them and letting them get away with everything. But yeah, Yiren, as I said, like, I think she could have been a good person. Like, I kind of would have liked her to actually be friends with Wei Wei rather than, like, at the end, like, kind of running away, being like, oh, I'm going to study abroad next semester because, like, things kind of didn't go her way. And, like, I understand she had falling outs with people, but, like, I feel like it would have been more admirable if she had stuck around and tried to remedy the situation rather than like kind of like running away. And then there's Zhen Shui, who he's the guy who was Wei Wei's in-game husband who dumped her to then marry the in-game beauty because like Wei Wei wouldn't show a picture. But it's also like as soon as he sees Wei Wei at the banquet that they have where like it's meeting all the friends or meeting all the people in the clan, he is immediately trying to shove aside his girlfriend right in front of her and chase Wei Wei, even though like he finds out Wei Wei has a boyfriend, and like when Wei Wei keeps on showing disinterest, like he keeps on trying to pursue her, and it's just like no, take a clue. That's not the way to win a girl over. It's not like if she's not even willing to give you her actual full name, yeah, take the hint, dude. Like there's ways of being persistent where it's romantic, and there's ways where it's just creepy. Same with Cao Guang. I think that's his name. The foreign department's genius. Like I said, I just have moments where I want to like him, but I feel like he's just too immature, and I feel like his infatuation with Wei Wei brings out the worst of him. And also I feel bad for his cat whenever I see it, because like I feel like I see it just panting a lot, and I just feel bad for that the actual cat who's on camera. And then, oh yeah, by the way, when Urxie gets bitten, totally her fault. And then let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else I should briefly cover because I know I'm way over minute wise, but hey, you guys should be used to it by now. Those are the main ones I can think of. Oh yeah, I really liked how Lord Now's parents were academics, and like it wasn't like he was brought up to be in a ridiculously rich privileged situation. Like his parents are smart, but and he was brought up on campus, but like he's like he has good solid parents, but like he wasn't like a ridiculous upbringing like I see with some of the like Korean dramas like Coffee Prince or with Boys Over Flowers. So like he had a pretty standard upbringing. Same with Wei Wei. Like she had a pretty standard upbringing. So, and like I was disappointed at the end when the parents finally were all together. Like there wasn't more interaction between the parents. Like I feel like that was a wasted opportunity because I want to see more of them. But yeah, those are some more of my thoughts. Sorry I took so long, but you guys are used to it. And I had to talk more about the characters. Oh yeah, one little thing that bothered me is that Lord Now is like basically his real name is Zhao Nai. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, but basically his online game is basically an extra syllable at the beginning at his first and last name. So it's like since it goes from Zhao Nai to Yik Xiao Nai, if I remember correctly. And it's like, how is it that big of a shock that he's the who he is in real life when that's his in-game name? Like I understand random people, but like I'm surprised no one made like being like, this guy's name is really similar to the campus idol's name. Wonder if they could be the same person. It's like as I said, like it's just. Then again, like it might be just my American perspective. It might be just like because Chinese names are different, and so it might be more of a shock, and like that there might be a lot more names that are very similar to that. But yeah, those are some of my thoughts. Right, this is probably my last video on this topic, at least for the time being, unless I decide to rewatch this at some point in the future. All right. Anyways, talk to you guys later. Bye. There we go.